So this video is to go over the operations on a number line part 2. It was the second one. We've done one already. And I actually scored this as each question being worth 2, and I threw out question 1 because I just had a couple of issues with number 1. So this number line is drawn to scale. I have D marked on my number line, 0 marked on my number line, and C marked on my number line. Question 1 says, determine if the expression below is positive or negative. Explain how you know. And the first expression is C times D. In one of my periods, I think it might have been second, we didn't get a chance to explicitly talk about this question on the first one we did. So I did want to throw this question out. Also, I wasn't happy with a lot of explanations for why negative. So here's a negative, D is a negative, C is positive. So why a negative times a positive was going to be negative. If you are still struggling explaining that, I want you to watch the other video. It goes over 4 different ways to explain why 1 positive times 1 negative will be a negative product, will be a negative answer. So watch that if you need to. If you are curious, we had 49% of our class get that one correct. So it was thrown out. So I will be having everyone take operations on a number line part 3. That will be on Monday, next Monday. So moving on to question 2, I have a subtraction problem now. What's D minus C? Is it going to be positive or negative? So I'm starting in the negative side of 0 to the left of 0, and I'm subtracting a positive. When I subtract a positive, I move left on my number line. So I need to hear those things in your explanation. If you talk about absolute value, that's not needed for this problem. That wouldn't be marked as correct if you talk about absolute value for this question. For question 2, we had 61% get it correct. And I suspect most students that knew that it was negative may have talked about absolute value in their explanation, so they didn't get the full points there. For question 3, it's subtraction again. This time it's C minus D, so the order has been changed, which will change the answer. It will change the difference. When you switch the order with subtraction, you will get a different answer. So now I'm starting at C, and I'm subtracting D. That means I'm starting at a positive. I am taking away a negative. I actually move up on my number line. It's like adding a positive. So it will definitely be positive because I'm starting at a positive number and moving up. For question 3, I think more students got this one correct, 77%, which I'm pleased because usually it's really hard to think of what happens when you take away a negative. It's a weird concept to think about, but 77% of us got that one correct. And last but not least, question 4 is our addition problem. What's the sum of C and D? Sorry if you hear my dogs in the background. C plus D. So since it's addition, I can start at C or at D. It doesn't matter. I can switch the order of an addition problem. I am going to start at C, and I'm going to add a negative. I'm adding this amount. This is how much D is. Okay? That's going to put me somewhere right here. Since D's absolute value is less than C's, when I move left, it's not going to be enough to move me past 0. It's not going to bring me over here. So it's going to be positive. For number 4, 61% of us got it correct. And just to point out now that I'm seeing this right here, instead of using smaller, I want you to use words like less than. Instead of using larger, use greater than. Okay, so hopefully this helps, and you'll get to do a retake on Monday, Operations on a Number Line Part 3.